Hello and welcome. My name is Chris. This is Lesson Jigsaw. We are here for English language speaking practice. If you're learning English and you want to practice speaking English, this is a place for you that you can use. All you gotta do is let us know. Put a comment in the chat, and we can try and have a chat. We're still doing some testing to see like different places and different signals and that sort of stuff. So yeah, we're just seeing how everything goes. But we're here. Hope you're having a great day. As always, I guess the question is, what are you going to talk about? And there's different ways, I guess, to select topics and ideas, things to talk about. One way of doing that, and that what we're going to use, we've got the country the country here. We've got 195 countries around the world selected, so it's a bit bigger than the one we used last time. You've also got other things like, and there's a whole bunch of these. So this is like random word. So a random word generator is the website, but here you can like select random questions. And so in this case, this question is, what are you currently juggling in your life? So what are the different things that you're trying to manage in your life? Now it's asked for one question, where you can just press and ask for another one. What one thing would significantly make your life better? And so you can just think, you can talk about those sort of topics. If you can't think of something that you want to talk about, you can do the same thing. So you could like say you want a word, and it can can just generate a word for you. So here it's got, okay, it's asked for three words. So radical, at, and remind. But I guess you can sort of change into what sort of, if you just want one word, I guess. So use landscape, or you can just say, I want a verb. Here we go, verb to drag, and so forth. Or a phrase, to write a phrase, a lemon. So, and that's good. It gives you the meaning. So a lemon, usually a vehicle, but any device you buy that's defective. So you could say, I bought a lemon for something. And so that could be a way of, generating ideas or topics to talk about. But in this case, because well, we always like to, see what's happening in different parts of the world. So let's do a spin of this wheel. I've not used this before, so let's see what happens. I'll put the sound on in case the sound is interesting. And let's see how these countries come up. It's going to show us the flag and the name, and we like that. What could be better is, imagine if you did the flag, the name, and the capital city. I think that would be a bit of a bonus. Well, anyway, let's have a look. That beginning sound. Let's see what country we come up with. If uh, it's, it's really funny because we did this a couple of days ago, and Japan was the country as well. So we're not going to do Japan 2 days in a row, but how curious, out of 195 countries, Japan comes out first. But we like talking about Japan last time. Very interesting stories that we read there. But I'm going to say done, not remove choice, because it would be curious if Japan came up 3 times in a row. But let's spin it again, shall we? I'll have a sip of water while we're waiting for this country to come up. Iraq. There we go. Now, I'm just going to sit here talking to myself effectively about Iraq. Um, and um, but if you want to join in, just send us a comment and let us know. Now, you see the message down the bottom. If you want to get in contact with us, if you're watching us on the replay and you go, oh, look, I wasn't there. I wasn't there when you were on, because Chris, you're on at like just different times. I don't know when you're on. send us an email and we can see if we can arrange something to talk about, or a time to talk and that sort of thing. But let's have a look at what's happening in Iraq. Is going to be our search request. So what's happening in Iraq? Now, of course, this is going to give us news, I guess. And that's going to be the most common thing. What else? I guess you've got the typical news in Iraq. But I guess what's another thing we could think about apart from just like the news or the general news? So what's happening in Iraq? Let me put that a bit bigger. What's happening in Iraq? Look at that. It's interesting what it comes up with, and they've got all these years. I guess these are all significant years. I'm looking at them. Yes, we can see that for some things. What's happening in Iraq with? Let's look at food. So what could be something? Okay, it's all about food price. Let's have a look at this. This looks like a very okay. Looks like you need to sign up to get the full story, but we can get like the rough story, I guess, from this website. We'll only accept the essential cookies, but let's have a look at the this image here is quite interesting. So obviously it's a market. Guys selling. Oh, here we got. It's a Iraqi shop at Baghdad's Sadriya market. Sadriya. Let's do a quick check and see if I've got that pronunciation right. So let me just Sadriya. But that doesn't come up. Let me just check I got that spelling right. Sadriya. I don't know. It is. I was having a check in English, but it doesn't come up as a result, so I can't check. So it's always limited. I guess perhaps not many YouTubers have gone to the markets in Baghdad, but nevertheless, let's. I wonder if I could do this. Let's see. Sadriya. I wonder if this would work. Okay, I could search. It doesn't really. If I search in the markets in Baghdad, it comes up with all bad stories. So let's digress. So we've got people walking, all men. Interestingly, all men in this market. It look what from what it looks like in this photo. So this guy is selling. If I'm saying this correctly, potatoes. I'm not sure what's in there. Maybe it's another type of potato in the middle there. It could be some type of. I'm not sure if that's like a kale or like a pak choi sort of thing, or like a type of lettuce of some sort. So if you've got onions, I think, in that bag there, and I don't know what the other shops are there. I can't really tell too much. But anyway, this is a couple of years back, September 10, 2021. Oh, there we go. Iraqi shop said Ria Market. Okay, lots of pop-ups here on this website. But okay, let's have a read of this story and see if we can get some type of information. So already faced with chronic issues such as persistently high unemployment and a lack of access to basic services, Iraqis are now hit by skyrocketing prices for food staples. Observers blame the jump in prices on both the Russia-Ukraine war and endemic corruption. Interesting. The rise in consumer price inflation has sparked street protests in different parts of the country. Iraqi social activists Oh, I don't know how to say this name. I'm going to see if I can get this name coming up. That may work. Let's see that. No, that doesn't work either, unfortunately. Anyway, excuse my pronunciation. Quasi Awad told Amwaj. I wonder if this comes up. This may come up. I'm taking. Sometimes I guess there's less likely for things to work with maybe less traveled countries. Media, it is the poorest who are suffering the most. Always seems to be the case, unfortunately, doesn't it? Especially those who do not receive aid from the authorities. There is a decline in handouts and charity provided to people with no or low incomes, he stated. Awad added that more Iraqis are falling under the poverty line as prices continue to rise. Just over the past 2 months, a roughly 15-kilo bag of flour has more than doubled in price from $15 to $35. A 1 liter bottle of cooking oil has tripled in price to $3. Awad said the price jumps are forcing a change in diets. I can imagine. And this is I wonder how many people there would be eating at home, cooking at home and eating, as opposed to going to a restaurant or something like that, or going to a place where someone else is cooking, so to speak. Let's have a think about that. So it's going to be a bit difficult to go through. Let me see if I can do this. So I'll go to go here, and that's not going to work. It's not going to work. I was going to try something, but that did not work. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, hold on for a sec, folks, hold on. Okay. So we're going to go here, and even though we only had like a little bit of the first 2 paragraphs, but I think it's a good thing in terms of trying to actually use the article that you've seen. I need to put that up so you can see. In terms of actually trying to use whatever you've seen and activate it. So yes, it's good to just read stuff, but you want to do something with it. So let's try and write some questions based on this article. And I guess there's 2 general types of questions. Questions that are in the story directly, and questions that are, answers that are outside of the story. So let's have a look at this, the end of the first sentence here. So Iraqis are now hit by skyrocketing prices for food staples. And so let's have this as the answer. So skyrocketing prices. So let's form a question using this. So skyrocketing prices. So actually, I should let's do that. So let's copy this, and we'll go over and we'll write a question. So that didn't work too well. Okay. So here we've got, so Iraqis are now hit by skyrocketing prices for food staples. So I guess a question that we could form with that is, what has happened to the prices for food staples? Now, I guess the question here is, of course, do you know what a food staple is? And that's basically like let's say the essential core foods. So things like rice, potatoes, flour, those sorts of things that you can sort of make other things from, and also very commonly available, the core ingredient for a lot of meals in a lot of places. I think rice is probably the most common one. Maybe rice, pasta, maybe in some places. So I think in a lot of cultures, anyway, you would have something like rice, maybe something like couscous, maybe beans, pasta, like I was saying, noodles. Many places will have noodles like in soups or noodles like a dry noodle or like a spaghetti sort of thing. Um, and I guess perhaps we could change this question a little bit to say maybe uh, what has been the um, um, say the recent effects on basic food items. So instead of saying food staples, we just change it a little bit. So then, what has been? This is okay. What have been? Oh, okay, yes, have been. This is true. Have been because we're talking about effects. I use the plural there. Okay. But in the end, the answer is only going to be one because skyrocketing prices. But anyway, it's like a bit of a trick question as such. So let's call that A. So A, and we call this B. We'll take that two away, see if that works. Okay. And so you get the idea, I suppose. So if you start to write the questions from the article, you can A, practice writing your questions, and B, practice going through the answers. And obviously what you can do is once you've gone back and looked at the story, you can remember the story. So obviously, like, just get the link, put it into your story, your page or whatever, put in the link, and then maybe a couple of days later, take away the answers, of course, look at your questions and try and answer the questions that you have. And there can be all sorts of things. So commonly, I guess, or sometimes the easier. Well, there was actually more there I could read. I didn't actually read that bit. Oh, okay. There's more. So I thought they were only going to give me a tiny little bit, but in fact, there's loads of uh, of stuff in here. I was deceived by the wall at the front of the website here. But anyway, let's have a look for another question. Um, and so let's have a look at one of these prices. Um, so now here the sentence is just over the past 2 months, a roughly 15 kilogram bag of flour has more than doubled in price from 15 US dollars to 35 US dollars. So let's do almost a trick type question. So how about, so thinking about this, so we want the answer, I want the answer to be 15 US dollars. And of course, 15 US dollars refers to a 15 kilogram bag of flour. So I don't know if you can think of what the question would be. So in your head, maybe think of what might the question be. How can I write the answer? So let's go down here. Let's do question 2. So how much did a 15 kilogram bag of flour cost 2 months ago? Um, okay, and obviously we have to refer to the past, so it has to be, in this case, 2 months ago. Or of course, we could say something like, so let's do A, let's do B here, and we could just change it to, okay, so let's say how much? How much was um, a bag of flour a couple of months ago? So instead of saying two, we say a couple. And instead of being precise with the 15 kilos, we just said a bag. But from the context of the article, people should get um, the idea. Now, both of these questions, you have the answer inside the text, but sometimes, of course, we can make the answer outside of the text. So if we come back, we can think, and I suppose, I don't know about you, I imagine most of the time when you think outside of the text, you can either refer it to a situation that the person knows, so maybe the local situation, or the opinion of someone. So here it is talking about um, inflation. So it gave some examples of the cooking oil, the flour. I think that's the only two examples. But overall, it's talking about rising consumer price inflation. So, um, and then talking also about the reasons for that inflation. So, I guess maybe what we could do is talk about something like that. So, if we where are we? If we go back to the questions here, we could do a question, say, uh, has there been any impact or with inflation in your country? Now, of course, this is a yes or no question because we're starting with the auxiliary verb has. Um, and I guess you can extend that. If so, what? Okay, or what was the impact is the full answer, or give details, you could say. So if so, give details, something like that. Um, or you could assume there's been something. So let's go here again. We'll do that A. We'll call this one B. And so, what has been the situation with inflation in let's say instead of in your country, we'll say where you live. And in this case, we say where you live. It's a bit broader, so it could be the country or it could be the state or region or area where the person is, or maybe even just the local government area, let's say. So it leaves it a little bit open there, a bit of flexibility. And so here we go. What has been the situation? Um, the time period is a bit open as well in terms of what the person includes with the what has been. And then it leaves more chance for the person to give more details if something has happened, if the price has gone up, price has gone down, could be, or indeed if prices have stayed stable and they're more or less the same, or indeed they can give sort of variations of different sort of prices. Um, and this sort of thing. Um, and then if we ask another question, again, thinking outside of, where are we? If we're thinking outside of the story, say, well, what are some of the other um, effects of the say the Russian war in Ukraine. But I guess instead of just saying other effects, which is very broad, this could be any sort of effects. You could make it more specific. So, what are some political effects, or what are some economic effects, or what are some social effects, and that sort of thing. And then you can also make it for specific areas. Um, so I guess here we have two examples. So we have the first two questions or sets of questions where we're looking directly getting the answers within the text. And the second two groups of questions, or 3 and 4, you have the answers outside of the text. So when you get a text, it's a very good thing to go through it. And here we've only gone through 2 paragraphs. I only looked at the first 2 paragraphs. And in fact, of course, there will be more detail as you go into it, but it's a very good way of showing that you understand the detail. And like I mentioned before, you can prepare your questions, take away the answers, and then maybe like a few days later or a week or a month later, look at the questions and then look at the story again and see if you can find the answers, how you can write the answers. So you can obviously put them down or type them out, or you can just like get your phone, speak into the voice recorder, practice your speaking if no one's around, or you can have a conversation with someone. Yeah, do the activity with someone else. But it's a good way of reusing that particular vocabulary and subject matter that you're discovering in there. But okay, increased public anger. I guess this was the part of the main thing. So it's what's actually happening, and then the consequence of that, which is the anger. So soaring. So notice here. So at the beginning, they talk about skyrocketing prices. Is one way in talking about the prices going up, and then here we talk about the jump in prices. Then we talk about inflation. Again, you can talk about in relation to prices, so the prices going up. More than doubled, again, talking about the price increases. And then here we're talking about soaring food prices. So quite a few different ways to talk about an increase of different sorts. So not a bad way to look at synonyms as well. And with all of these, so even though I've pointed out a whole bunch of words, always for you, look at the words that are important or relevant for you, that you think, oh, I could actually use this. And a lot of times in text, you might go, oh, I don't know what this word is. And you write down the word and the translation, and that's fine. But you should always then prioritize them and have like a separate list or a highlighted list or something like that, where you go, okay, these words are a bit more important. And so I'm going to focus my attention on learning these words. And then when you're learning them, you want to actually practice them. You can't just put them on the list and do nothing. But don't try and practice with too many words. Don't try and learn too much at one time. Don't overwhelm yourself. So maybe I like to tell people, get maybe 3, 4, maximum 5 words or expressions, and then they're at the ones that are at the top of your priority list, to learn and use them. Use them. Writing, speaking, in conversations, whenever you can. And that's why I say maybe like 3 a day, and try and really use them throughout the day. You want high volume for a small amount of words or expressions. High volume. So try and use them a lot, as much as you can. Text messages, emails, writing like a diary, notes to yourself or for other people, speaking on the phone, speaking with friends, speaking over lunch or dinner, or a coffee or whatever, speaking on your voice recorder, leaving messages for yourself or for other people, trying to use that vocabulary, of course, in appropriate context. You have to create the context, but actively using that. And so the point here is that, so even though I'm highlighting a bunch of words, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you have to look at those words and go, is that word important for me? And then actually go and use that, And this is actually the same with any of these things. And this is part of the reason why I'm saying, write questions as an example. Write questions. Have a conversation with another person. Speak into your phone. Write a summary. If you're just reading the text or listening to something and you don't do anything, it's going to get lost. It's going to get lost, and the real value is going to be very, very minimal. And so it is important to do something with whatever you're reading, listening to, watching. And it's the same for watching a movie and that sort of thing. So just trying to be active with it. And I guess with a movie, it's easy to talk about the story or the cast or what other possibilities could be, how they could change the storyline, all of that sort of stuff. You know, those are really good things to do and to talk about, and you should try and talk about that sort of stuff. But it's a matter of doing that and trying to do that for some amount of time. So maybe whatever you can do, really. So if it's 5 minutes, great. If you can do it for 10 minutes, even better. Do it for half an hour, why not? You know, you can go through a whole bunch. Maybe if it's just the one topic, okay, but maybe like you probably, if you're talking about like a movie or something, you probably run through a whole bunch of different parts or ideas. So it could be like the clothes or the fashion or the scenery or the storyline. Maybe the storyline was ridiculous or really exciting, or you compare it with other movies, all of that sort of stuff. Okay, but I digress. Okay, but what I might do actually, let me just put this on. Now, this is I mean it's a good story to use, but let's see if there's any a positive story or a happy story about Iraq. So, okay, let's see what we've got here. Reading Iraq, our top 10 list of Iraqi fiction. A must-read list of Iraqi fiction. Frankenstein in Baghdad. I don't know. It's interesting. Short stories. What's that? I don't know what a good story. I guess when there's we often see it because of the negative things and the aspects of war and that sort of thing. It's a difficult thing to always see that sort of a thing. But let's maybe try. Let's try this. See if we can see some of these attractions might be. So if we visited Iraq, what should we go for? We've got 38 best and most beautiful places in Iraq. This is the same one. And 15 best places. I have to say, this looks very similar to some other. I guess sometimes buildings look very similar in some places. But this Erbil, if I'm pronouncing it, I reckon Erbil is going to be in the here. So let's have a look. Here we go. Let's have a listen to Erbil.
Of Baghdad and Erbil, the Kurdistan.
Erbil.
World from grave danger.
To stop the advance on Erbil.
Erbil.
We wanted to go into Erbil.
Erbil. Interesting that it's all American presidents that are talking. I guess that's a sign, isn't it? But nevertheless, let's look at the crazy tourist. Let's see what the crazy tourist has to say. So 15 best places. Of course, it's a matter of opinion, like everything, I guess. In Iraq and Erbil, because this seems to have come up in the pictures. So Erbil seems to be the place, although it looks very suburban there with a a red building that's just standing out. Interesting. But what does it say about Erbil? So a 7,000-year-old citadel of Erbil has an illustrious history and can be compared to other greats like Cadiz and Byblos. The massive castle in the center of the city, is this a castle? That can't be the castle, can it? I reckon that's something else. That can't be the castle, that red thing. When I say thing, I mean building, of course. And also world. So let's have a look at the castle Erbil. Let's see if we've got some images. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so this is oh geez, wow, look at that. Look at that. Wow, that is something. Wow. But I guess the thing is when you see the whole unit on top of the mountain, and I guess if you take away the greater population or the population area when in the history when it would have been a bit more bare, it would have been quite a sight. That looks like quite a big distance. Wow, that does look quite amazing. Interesting there, they've got it's written as Erbil. Interesting. Look at that clock tower. Very nice. The fountain in the middle. I wonder how long the fountain has been there. But this citadel does look pretty amazing. Okay, let's go back. So other places not to miss include Erbil's Civilization Museum and the Kurdish Textile Center, which are a great way to find all about the history and culture of this amazing part of the world. And then we have Ur, I guess, is known for its biblical tales of epic floods. Wow. And fearsome Babylonian kings, and is also known for one of the most beautiful ancient ruins. I don't know if the pictures that they've used here are the best pictures. I'm not sure. I mean, when you're saying Erbil is number one, I'm not sure if this is now. Certainly, it's nice the mountains and stuff, I guess, in the back. I'm not sure if that's the best picture compared to the other pictures. And again, here we've got soldiers coming down. I'm not sure if that's the best picture, but anyway, in Baghdad, I imagine. Now near Baghdad. Isn't that where they had the old city where they've got the Hanging Gardens of Babylon? I think that's near from one of the ancient wonders of the world. I thought that was near Baghdad. Goes without saying, the city of Baghdad has suffered in recent times due to incessant bombing and attacks by insurgent groups. To enter the green zone of the city, you need to get a special permit. There is hope that one day soon people will be able to visit the city once more. It's interesting. I have actually seen flights that go to Baghdad, but I'm not sure how easy it is to get in as such. Okay, look at these ads. Basra. This is a person with a tie. Basra. Is it going to tell us? It's not going to tell us who this is. I'm sure it's a general list. Let's look at this. Wow. Kabbalah. This town may not sound like much, but it's actually the place where 30 million pilgrims make their way each year. It does look pretty spectacular. Wow. That is quite a sight. All right. Hatra. This is quite a sight as well. It's a bit like it's a good. I say they're doing well. So the first few pictures were not the greatest, but the pictures are getting better after a while. It's an interesting building here where they've got like this little bridge. I guess this is a bridge or an archway. Maybe, I'm not sure if you actually walk over the top there. That's an interesting design getting in there. And I don't know who those pictures are, if they're like military people or just regular people. The mountain does look pretty good. It's an interesting color scheme. It's always with different cities. I don't know what you find. When you look at pictures of cities, it's always interesting to look at the color scheme of their buildings and that sort of thing. If they all have the same or different styles and that sort of thing. Okay, so Babylon. This is when we talk about the hanging gardens of Babylon. Okay. I don't know. So this is the Ishtar Gate. The Ishtar Gate in Babylon. Okay. So the name Babylon conjures up images of ancient empires, hanging gardens, and epic battles between Alexander the Great and Persian kings. And it's fair to say that restoration and preservation have rather taken a back seat here in recent times, I can imagine. But you can still take in some of the majestic castles here. How many castles would there be? As well as the vast remains of Homera, I'm guessing, or Homera. As you explore Babylon, know that you are walking in the footsteps of great emperors of this part of the world, and you can marvel at artifacts such as the gracefully crumbling lion statues, and imagine how the hanging gardens of Babylon would once have looked. Okay, interesting. I don't know how to say that. I want to say the name of this place, but it looks it's more challenging for me to say. But I imagine there's going to be. Oops, that didn't work. Well, let me try that again. I'll try here. Copy this and see if we can get the pronunciation right for here. Yes, we have it. Here we go.
The cities of Seleucia and Ctesiphon, the latter being the Parthian
Ctesiphon.
capital. Afterwards, a video
Hold on.
With the conquest of the Parthian capital. At this point, the Roman Empire reached
I
its
didn't hear it.
greatest.
Actually have Ctesiphon, which is
Tes-
the capital
Ctesiphon.
of Parthia. So that's the
Ctesiphon.
end of the
Ctesiphon.
war.
We have
Did it?
no, a different prison just
Ctesiphon.
outside Ctesiphon. As last time, though. So once again, he boldly marched up to
It's the same
Ctesiphon.
guy. It's the same guy.
Yusha.
Persian Empire.
Come on.
Was ruled from Ctesiphon.
Ctesiphon. Well, that's a great little introduction there from that professor, building up the anticipation. What's it going to be? So Ctesiphon. What a incredible pronunciation. So obviously the C is it's a silent C. So Ctesiphon. But this little archway, well, maybe it wasn't an archway in the beginning. That was probably the dome of the building. I don't know what the building was, but it does look pretty amazing. So he was saying it was the ancient capital. Okay, so this is what here they're saying as well. So in the middle of the 4th century BC, Ctesiphon was a small Persian settlement on the banks of the limpid Tigris River. In the 1st century AD, however, it became the Parthian capital and grew to include the city of Seleucia, which is what we heard before. This meant that Ctesiphon became one of the biggest cities in the region by the 7th century, and this is where the Arch of Ctesiphon was built. So I guess, is this the Arch of Ctesiphon? Because if this is the arch, why? What did they do with the arch? I guess this is the question. What? Because it looks like a part of a building. I would normally think of an arch as something you go through. I guess it doesn't always have to be like a gateway. I guess it's just an arch. Okay. Also known as the Ta Khazra. This is a Sassanid, I'm going to guess. A Sassanid dome. That is one of the largest of its kind in the world and one of the most important archaeological sites in the region. A Sassanid dome. What is a Sassanid dome? There we can ask that. The Sassanid dome, so there's a bunch of images here for a Sassanid dome. I can't tell. It looks like it's a dome with extended on the outside, but of course that's not a technical definition. But I wonder if there's a quick definition here. What was I say it's okay. It's from the Empire, Sassanid Empire. So for 400 years, the Sasanian Empire was a major power in the Near East, the rival to the late Roman Empire. Not only that, but they sustained relations with the Tang dynasty of China and several Indian kingdoms where their products and cultures were held in high esteem. Sasanian, I'm going to guess. So why did the empire collapse? So I guess this is the good thing about learning about ancient history. Maybe I should have done that at school. But I don't think it would have done this empire. I think they only did Greek and Roman history. But yeah. When did Persia become Iran? I was 35, okay. Okay. So it's basically the domes from that era, I'm guessing, or in a style from that era. Okay. So that's interesting. Where were we? Over here. Okay. So then we have, okay, let's finish this. This is Mosul. Again, that looks like a incredible building. There seems to be in all of these areas, there seems to be like an area, maybe that's just the general landscape, always seems to be like a high mountain. And then in the bottom, in the valley, perhaps is the city. But this place is very rural. Okay. Okay. See, now this shows us farmland, but here it's talking more about ruins. I don't know. But I don't think this is actually... The name here doesn't seem to match up with the place. Kurdistan. I'm not sure if this is... Unless it's just a different name. And Zako. I think the photos could possibly be a little bit better. Better choice of photos, perhaps. In my humble opinion. But I wonder if we look at the globe-trotting detective, see if this loads up quickly. This is from Diana, who's a Munich-based Hungarian solo traveler who writes travel guides to help me, discover the most awesome places in the world. Thank you, Diana. So this is Erbil, I think. That picture. Okay. So okay, I like this because this has got the like a contents at the beginning. Erbil's only 19 here. Can you believe that? Erbil's only 19. Okay. I wonder, let's have a look at this waterfall. This works, okay. So waterfall routes. So there's no, unfortunately, okay, there are some photos. Okay, she's actually been there. So this is not just random lists. I guess this is her in the photos. And how to travel by private car. I've been here, been there 3 times. Each time my friends drove me there. You can, of course, go by private taxi or a guide. Okay, I wonder is there... Okay. I guess this is where the waterfall is. Is this the waterfall? Well, this is the Rawandu's Canyon. Well, that's the valley. Oh, okay. So that's, oh, maybe that's how she did the list, because it's sort of, their places are connected rather than ranking in terms of, how good they are, or preference, let's say. It's interesting. Okay, that's this waterfall here. Okay. All right, very nice. Wow, that is a picture. That is a picture. That looks like on top of the world, doesn't it? That literally looks like on top of the world. Fantastic picture. All right. So actually, there's some very good pictures here. So this is, maybe I should have gone to this site first. Wow, look at that dam. Look at that water. That's with, I forget what it is. What makes the water go that color. But anyway. Wow. Very nice. So let me know, like, would you ever go to a place like Iraq? You know, what in what situation would you be comfortable going to Iraq? Because I guess realistically, it's a place where people would be concerned about going. Now, I don't know when she went there, but obviously she's very comfortable. I wonder if I could. I'm just going to scan up. So excuse the rolling speed here. Maybe there's like an intro. Look at that place. Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm saying there's a date where she went. So okay, there's still. I'm not gonna. This one doesn't have a go straight to the top. Okay. Whoops, that's not what we wanted, but so when did she travel? When did she travel? I don't know. This is a list for this year, but I guess you could just always change the date or the year. Dozens of photos, right? Okay. Okay, so yeah, so it looks as though the date or the year at the top is just changed. So 2022 maybe. So maybe she went there last year. Maybe she went there last. It's not really clear. But okay. But there we go. Anyway, well, this place looks. I like it. That looks spectacular, doesn't it? It does look spectacular. So obviously she's comfortable. So go back to the question. So when would you feel comfortable going to a country like Iraq, and how would you travel? I mean, this looks as though she's gone there alone. I mean, would you be comfortable going alone? Or would you travel like with a group? So let me know. I'll be interested to know. That would be very interesting. Anyway, I'm just flicking through this website and gas bagging a bit. I'm going to leave it there. It's been nice to chat. If you've got any questions or comments, just let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and we will catch you in the next broadcast. Take care. Have a great rest of the day. See you later. Bye.